we finally have some interesting information that could provide context that pertains to the next installment of the God of War franchise. Some speculations might suggest a new approach to this installment or a whole new IP from Santa Monica Studios entirely. When will it come out? What's the sauce that SleepyGamerz has? That's for you to find out. So let's explore this pantheon and leaks together. It's been a real interesting month for God of War fans. The state of play was actually pretty good, revealing not only some other interesting titles, but also the God of War trilogy remake. But more importantly, Santa Monica's possible next installment. I want to discuss leaks that emerged from the depths of Hades like Kratos did. So keep your pants zipped, ladies and gents, as this is about to get interesting. An article posted on GamesHub.com written by Tanaka Haruto states, renowned industry insider Tom Henderson has sparked intense speculation following a recent stream suggesting that the next mainline God of War title could feature a return to Greek mythology and a brand new signature weapon for Kratos. The Scythe, a tool for the God of Hope. One of the most inciting aspects of the league is the mention of a scythe. Since 2018 soft reboot, Kratos has experienced his arsenal beyond the iconic Blades of Chaos to include the Leviathan axe and the spear. A scythe could represent a fascinating shift in combat style, potentially offering wider sweeps and soul harvesting mechanics. Within the community, some fans are speculating whether this scythe might actually be a Egyptian sickle sword, which has been rumored in previous leaks. However, the weapon is indeed a traditional scythe. It could signal a darker turn for the franchise or a connection to the concept of death itself, a role Kratos has danced around for decades. If you want more information regarding those leaks mentioned about Egypt before, feel free to check out my last God of War video discussing that. If not, we'll also go over some here. Now on Google or Wikipedia, it says, in Greek mythology, the scythe, or harp, is primarily the iconic weapon of the Titan Kronos, used to castrate his father to seize control of the universe. Given by Gaia, this adamantine or flint blade symbolized agriculture destruction, the reaping of life, and the unstoppable, all devouring forces of time. Now, while a scythe was never used in any of the original God of War games spanning from PS2 to PSP, it makes you wonder why not, as it was a weapon of Kronos at one point in time. So this could further tie into the speculations of the article that happens later down the line, but let's move on to the history of Egypt and what it can mean. In Egyptian mythology and history, the scythe refers primarily to the khopesh, a distinctive sickle-shaped sword symbolizing power, divinity, and cosmic order. Used from the Middle Kingdom through the New Kingdom, this weapon featured a curved outer edge blade used for slashing and hooking, famously found in Tutankhamun's, cannot pronounce that, tomb, and used by pharaohs like Ramses II. Now, this would be such a badass weapon for Kratos to use. No gods are known for holding a scythe in the sense, so it makes me wonder if instead of Kratos earning it through bloodshed, maybe he earns it through loyalty, respect, then hardship from the gods of Egypt, or for restoration in Greece. Remember, Kratos is now the god of hope. This article further reads, why Kratos might return to the Greek mythology. The idea of returning to Greece is perhaps the most polarizing part of Henderson's report. Kratos spent 6 games dismantling the Greek pantheon, leaving the land in literal and metaphorical ruins. However, narratively, a return could make sense following the events of Valhalla. Now, Kratos has accepted his past and transitioned from a god of war to a god of hope. Returning to the Mediterranean could be a full circle moment. Instead of destroying the world, the gameplay loop could evolve rebuilding it, potentially coming into conflict with the few remaining Greek deities, or even facing the Roman incarnations of his former enemies. See, I find this very interesting. If you guys remember, Kratos did in fact accept his role as the god of hope, further laying the God of War to rest in Valhalla DLC, and this DLC served as kind of a closure for Kratos, allowing him to finally let go of his regret, closing the doors officially on the Norse saga. Now, we can tie this into another pantheon as well. In the end of God of War Ragnarok, we see Kratos looking at the last mural in the game that depicts him of becoming the god of peace, being loved as well, worshipped for that notoriety. I think the idea of Kratos returning to Greece, as the article states, just makes so much sense, as he left the plains in disarray, and as mentioned, there is a few gods who live. If so, I honestly think this might be Santa Monica's closing of this beloved IP, since when things come full circle, there's always nowhere to go after that. It just makes sense for Kratos to clean up the messes he once made, unless you send him to fight Jesus, then that's a whole different story. Now, while the Romans had many deities just the same as the Greek pantheon, they were even inspired by the Egyptians' way of beliefs as stated here. Yes, the ancient Romans worshipped a vast pantheon or gods and goddesses, which evolved from early abstract Roman spirits into complex system heavily influenced by Greek mythology. Major state deities included Jupiter, Juno, Minerva, while daily life involved honor and household gods. And what I find interesting on this bullet point that I'm about to read, expansion and adaptation. As the empire grew, Romans adopted foreign gods such as Isis, Egypt, and Mithras, Persia. Yes, Egypt and Persia. Now, with all this information provided to back up Tom Henderson's claim and him being a really credible inside source, and I mean really credible, this really shows that Santa Monica might be cooking and could lead to something huge, because what if instead of exploring one pantheon, we explore almost all of them? The article further reads, multiple mythology, the future of God of War. While the league highlights Greece, many fans believe the next game won't be limited to a single region. Much like the 9 realms in the Norse saga, the next God of War could utilize world hopping mechanics. Current theories suggest that Kratos may act as a peacekeeper across various pantheons, traveling between Greece, Egypt, and perhaps even Celtic lands, leveraging Mimir's backstory. If multiple pantheons view Kratos as a threat due to his history of the side, we could see a pantheon versus Kratos scenario where he must navigate several mythology landscapes to prevent a global divine war. Just ponder on that notion for a little bit. I think this could all be very well interesting, as if you guys remember when Atreus and Kratos were both in Tyr's vault, or as well throughout the game, you will see various symbology of different cultural pantheons throughout the game. My favorite being the Mayan Aztec pantheon that was hidden. This story beat could further tie into Tyr's story, since, he acted as a diplomatic god of war, exploring, traversing, and conversing with deities from across the other realms. These seeds were always planted to begin with, just as they were planted for Kratos to live at the end credits of God of War 3. I do not think we will get a standalone game back in Greece, but Greece as a whole different world to traject, and this next installment could very well be arriving more sooner than you think. Just recently, Christopher Judge, the voice actor of Kratos for God of War 2018 and Ragnarok, had a recent discussion about the new refinements of God of War trilogy will be having in their remakes, which I also find interesting, since this really shows how much of a remake this will be, rebuilding the gameplay mechanics from the ground up. But what I find more interesting in his talk on his new project is himself is working on. An article on mpfirst.com written by Taha reads, this new project, which could be the one led by Cory Barlog, will reportedly be shown this summer ahead of its rumor release in 2027. Everything started with a YouTube video published by streamer Fuzz Puzzy, weird ass name, can't pronounce that properly, sorry, who approached Judge to greet him and ask him a few questions. Although the video has since been deleted, clips of the conversation quickly spread online, showing her speaking with the voice actor in upcoming projects. It is worth noticing that he does not seem aware of the streamer's recording and streaming live, which may explain why he speaks so openly. At first, he confirms that it is an exclusive job for Terrence C. Carson, and that it's not a reboot of the series because they are testing the new technology. Shortly after, he mentions the new fighting system and says that once again it will feature the original voice of Kratos from the Greek saga. He also confirmed that we'll be able to see more news later this summer. Now, Sony doesn't have a fixed annual summer game reveal event on a strict schedule the way some other companies do, but they do often hold mid-year showcases around later spring and early summer to show upcoming PlayStation games, typically as part of their State of Play series of digital presentations. But who's to say that Santa Monica won't have their own presentation showcasing what upcoming projects they've been dealing with? Let's not also forget that Santa Monica does have an original IP that Cory Barlog previously announced was in the works, so this could very well be just that game being revealed this summer. Christopher Judge could also be playing another character within that new IP, so let's keep our expectations in check, right? Let's play this clip from Christopher Judge talking to Fuzz Puzzy that was able to be salvaged before being taken down by a Twitter user named Mr. Rebs.
A new announcement, and I have to come say hi. Are you playing in the remake?
No, well, it's gonna be TC because it's not a reboot, but they're gonna put all the new technology in it, add more stuff, a new fighting system.
Okay.
So that will be TC. The original.
Sorry, who's
the original guy?
Oh, the original. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. And then you'll be hearing about what we're doing probably late summer.
Oh, that's so exciting. You didn't play in the Sparta one, right? The new announcement too?
The Sons of Sparta?
Yeah.
Well, that's a kind of 2D thing. That's about Kratos and Deimos, his brother, training to be Sparta.
I would love to meet Christopher Judge in person. She's very lucky. He seems like such a chill dude. Now, Corey Barlog and his team usually have a 4 to 6 time frame when it comes to developing a game, right? For example, God of War 2018 was a 5-year development cycle, whereas Ragnarok was a 4, considering they already laid the foundation work for the previous titles. Now, if it's a new IP, it could take way longer. So since they are working on a fresh game, we still could be early into its development cycle. Then we might only be getting a preview or a teaser. But if it's a new installment that uses the same mechanics from Ragnarok, then we could be getting either a gameplay teaser or just a teaser in general. It's been 3 to 4 years since the last God of War game came out. We could be definitely getting a new God of War game in 2027 if we follow the development cycle they use. God, this sounds all exciting. I think I'm going to put my money on a new God of War game. Then after that, we get a brand new IP. I feel like the reveal of God of War remakes and the Sons of Sparta are some games they created just to hold us off. And the original voice actor of Kratos did state that the God of War remake trilogy is in early development, so it might not be this project that will release into 2027. We will just have to sit tight and wait and see. Keep your expectations low and you would never be disappointed. Our cuddly Greek god. Are you guys excited for the next God of War game? Do you want them to stick to one pantheon, or do you wish to traverse through more? Want a new IP instead? Comment below and let's discuss. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell for a deeper dive and analysis on leaks such as this. Or hit that video on the right for my previous video discussing the Silent Hill Townfall transmission. Alright, Sleepy Gamers, count your sheep, catch your Z's, and go to sleep. Don't be sorry, be better.